Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I want to start by giving all praise, all honor, all glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching me this truth according to the Bible through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shah. And a sincere peace and salutation to all you hopeful Akim out there pushing his word in all truth and sincerity, doing the work as Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shah has created us to do, so he can wake up and seal the elect of the nation of Israel, which consists of you so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, and also you Israelites who are scattered amongst the heathen nations that may look like the heathen nations, but your father's seed line, your lineage, goes back to you being the so-called black, Hispanic, Native American, and Seminole Indian, one of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. Shalom. It's your brother Halak here from the GMS Denver camp, coming back once again through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, with another video. And this is going to be a continuation of the series I'm doing, Persecuted for Righteousness' sake, because we see what times we're entering into. We see what's coming to pass, all according to the Most High's will, where our enemies are going to persecute us. They're going to demonize us. And this series, through the Spirit, is to let us know that this is nothing new, that, we're suffering. Matter of fact, let's start with this. Let's get this is 1 Peter chapter 4. In verse 12 it says, Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial which is to try you, as some strange thing happened unto you. But rejoice inasmuch as ye are partakers of Mashiach's suffering, that when his glory shall be revealed, you may be glad also with exceeding joy. And that's how we have to embrace these times that we're coming into, man. This is a part of Yahweh Shah's suffering. Suffering that we must go through, because what? If we plan to be co-heirs with Yahweh Shah in his kingdom, we have to endure suffering with him, as it tells us right here in Romans 8 and 17, Slakia. It says, and if children, then heirs of the Most High, and joint heirs with Mashiach, if so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together. So there it is. So think it not strange, all these things that are about to come our way, man. It has to happen. Yahweh Shah went through them. All of our righteous forefathers are going through them. And now it's our turn to go through it as well, to have our faith tested. You see? It's a trial by fire. It's a trial by affliction. It's the way Yahweh Shah was made perfect, and it's the way that we're going to be made perfect. You see? Through suffering, man. So let's go back to Hebrews 11 and 32 to once again bring it out and show you that our righteous forefathers have gone through similar things, man. Hebrews 11 and 32, it reads, And what shall I more say? For the time will fail me to tell of Gideon, and of Barak, and of Samson, and of Jephthah, of David also, and Samuel, and of the prophets, who through faith subdued kingdoms, wrought righteousness, obtained promises, stopped the mouths of lions, quenched the violence of fire, escaped the edge of the sword, out of weakness were made strong, waxed valiant in fight, turned to flight the armies of the aliens. All these things our righteous forefathers were able to do because of what? Because of what? Because of faith, man. Because of their belief and trust in Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shah. It goes on to say in verse 35, it says, Women received their dead raised to life again, and others were tortured, not accepting deliverance, that they may obtain a better resurrection. And others had trial of cruel mockings and scourgings, moreover of bonds and imprisonment. You see all the different things our righteous forefathers have suffered because of their faith? We're not exempt from this, man. We have to go through similar situations. Verse 37 says, They were stoned, they were sawn asunder, were tempted, were slain with the sword. They wandered about in sheepskins and goatskins, being destitute, afflicted, tormented, of whom the world was not worthy. They wandered in deserts and in mountains and in dens and caves of the earth. So our righteous forefathers went through complete hell as they had their faith tested, man. You see? And this is how we're going to have to enter into the kingdom, as it tells us in Acts 14 and 22. That what? Confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must, through much tribulation, enter into the kingdom of the Most High. So we can't be in the spirit like a lot of these Israelites are talking about there's no tribulation coming. It's coming. It has to. It's the only way into the kingdom. And Yahushua is our chief example of that. He couldn't get back to that glory that he had with the Most High. You see, as he prayed for him in John 17, until he what? Until he fulfilled the Most High's will and suffering all that he had to suffer. And ultimately being what? Put upon that cross to become a sacrifice for us to walk the same path and have the access back to the Father, man. You see? This is the only way for us. This is the only way for an Israelite to enter into all that Yahweh Bahasham Yahushua has promised unto our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man. You see? Now, the account that we're going to go in today is what we find here in 2 Maccabees chapter 6, and we'll start at verse 1. All right, so we're going to start here in 2 Maccabees 6 and 1. It reads, "Now this is the time of the persecution of the Israelites during the time of the Greeks." This is a history that must be understood to understand when you read in the New Testament, there's neither Jew nor Greek. It's the Hellenization of the Israelites. You see? This is what was going on. And the ones who are at the forefront of this are the ones who are at the forefront of the persecution of the Israelites in this time. The Edomites, man, the so-called white race. You see? So 2 Maccabees 6 and 1, it goes on to say, "Not long after this, the king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers and not to live after the laws of the Most High." You see how it's a reoccurring pattern? How the heathen will always persecute us because we're following the laws and ways of Yahweh Bahasham Yahushua. It's because we're walking in the light of being the Israelites as the Most High has created us to do. You see that? It's the same thing that's about to happen here in these times now, man. That which is then is now. You see? So 2 Maccabees 6 and 2, it goes on to say, "And to pollute also the temple in Jerusalem, and call it the temple of Jupiter Olympus, and that in Gerizim of Jupiter the defender of strangers, as they did desire that dwell in the place. The coming in of this mischief was sore and grievous to the people, for the temple was filled with riot and reveling by the Gentiles, who dallied with harlots and had to do with women within the circuit of the holy places, and besides that brought in things that were not lawful." So these heathen were defiling our temple, man. Having sex in the temple of the Most High. That's what these heathen have done. And that just shows you the complete lack of respect and reverence and fear that these heathen nations have toward our power. You see? Verse 5 says, "The altar also was filled with profane things which the law forbiddeth. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feast or ancient fast, or profess himself at all to be a Jew." So it was against the law to proclaim that you were an Israelite. This is what is coming again up under Esau. These same people who are doing this in 2 Maccabees 6 are the same people who are doing the same thing now, man. This is where it's going to go. You see? For all you Israelites talking about there's no tribulation, we're reading about what is about to happen here in this time, man. It happened in the past. It's going to happen here in this time, and we already seeing it begun. It's already begun. You see? Now, verse 7 says, "And in the day of the king's birth, every month, they were brought by bitter constraint to eat of the sacrifices. And when the feast of Bacchus was kept, the Jews were compelled to go in procession to Bacchus carrying ivy. So they were forced to what? Worship the idols of the heathen. They were forced to do this by way of the sword, man. This is a part of the persecution that we fell up under during the time of the Greeks. So moreover, like in verse 8 it says, moreover there went out a decree to the neighbor cities of the heathen by the suggestion of Ptolemy against the Jews, that they should observe the same fashions and be partakers of their sacrifices. So leave off from the way that your God gave you and fashion yourself after the heathen. That's what this whole thing has been about, man. That's what it's all been about. Us being Hellenized and Romanized and Americanized. To leave off from the ways that the Most High has given us, to walk in the ways of the heathen, which keeps us separated from our power, man. This is being done by design. It's strategic by our enemies, man. It's not a coincidence. Because they know that when we're walking in one accord with our power, that they can do nothing against us. And this is why the Most High has preserved a remnant unto himself out of the nation of Israel that's going to walk in the proper spirit, that is going to seek after the old paths. While the rebels of our people continue to go in the ways of the heathen. You see, as they're being led into destruction, man. Now verse 9 goes on to say what? And whoso would not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles should be put to death. We're about to face a similar situation here in this time when they make that MOTB mandatory. You see, this is what's coming. This is a part of the trial of our faith to enter into the kingdom. You see this? This is what it means to be an Israelite right here up under the heathen. That it eventually came a point to where the heathen were persecutors and they would give us an ultimatum to do what? Forsake our ways as being Israelites and be conformed to their way or die. We are about to face the same thing here up under Esau, man. This is what's coming. You see? So it says at the end of verse 9, it reads, Then might a man have seen the present misery, for there were 2 women brought, who had circumcised their children, whom when they had openly led about the city, the babes hanging at their breast, or handing at their breast. Hold up. This app is weird. Let me see what it says in the, I want to make sure we're getting that right. 6 and what, 10? For the 2 women hanging. Okay, I know I wasn't tripping. So what the hell is handing? So yeah, this app, a few words are out of place. But it says, 2 Maccabees chapter 6, verse 10, it says, For there were 2 women brought who had circumcised their children, whom when they had openly led round about the city, the babes hanging at their breasts, they cast them down headlong from the wall. Do you see where these Edomites were taking them back then? It's the same thing they're going to do now. And they show you that they don't give a fuck about the kids, because look what just happened in Chicago with ICE. They were what? Zip tying young children in the early hours of the morning, man. Saying fuck those kids. It's the same devils who are in power today, man. These same devils that are doing this in the time of the Greeks are the same devils who are in power today. They don't give a damn about old or young. And they were taking our children and casting them from the wall head first because their mothers had circumcised them. So being an Israelite is a deadly serious thing, man. This is what we have been trying to get across to you Israelites out here who think that this is just a game. You think that this is just another trend or fad, man. This is deadly serious as we go back into our accounts. Accounts written for our learning, man. Now, what does it go on to say in verse 11? And others that had run together into caves nearby to keep the Sabbath day secretly, being discovered by Philip, were all burnt together because they made a What is this, man? This fucking app. Conscience to help themselves for the honor of the most sacred day. So to even uphold the ways the Most High gave us for circumcising our children, our young men, for even acknowledging that you were Israelite, you were put to death for it, man. Even for even trying to keep the Sabbath, they were burning them alive. You see? This is how dangerous it was to be an Israelite up under the Greeks. The same type of perils are coming to us here in these last days for all you Israelites who think that this is a fucking game. These devils, these Edomites are not our allies, man. They're not our friends. None of these heathen are. You see? That's why we're going into this series to show you what has been done unto us up under the heathen time and time again. And this time right here in this final captivity here in the land of America up under Esau is no fucking different, man. They're about to come the same way. Verse 12 says what? Now I beseech those that read this book that they be not discouraged for these calamities, but that they judge those punishments not to be for destruction, but for a chastening of our nation. And all this is happening to us because of what? Our disobedience toward the Most High. That's why all that hell was brought upon us. And this is why we've been so adamant through the Spirit to tell our people to do what? Repent. Leave off from your wicked ways. Seek the old paths. Leave off from the heathen, man. And turn back to Yahweh through faith in his son, Yahweh Shah. So you can escape these perils, these dangers, this savage time that we're entering into. You see? Verse 13 says what? For it is a token of great goodness when wicked doers are not suffered any long time, but forthwith punished. For not as with other nations, whom the Lord patiently forbeareth to punish, like the Edomites, they're being reserved, you see, for their time of judgment. So the Most High is what? Forbearing them, man. Patiently, long-suffering the wicked. It says what? Till they be come to the fullness of their sins, so dealeth he with us. Lest that, being come to the height of sin, afterwards he should take vengeance of us. And that's what's about to happen. Even though we're about to go through hell, we're about to be persecuted, we're about to be demonized, these devils are going to roll upon us. Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shah is going to take vengeance upon our enemies on our behalf, man. That's what he's promised to do for us, you see? Verse 16 says what? And therefore he never withdraweth his mercy from us. And though he punish with adversity, yet doth he never forsake his people. And this is what we must keep in mind, man. The trials that we're going through is not for our destruction. The trials that we go through on the daily and that we're about to go through here in the final seconds of Esau's kingdom is for what? It's for our betterment. It's for our perfecting. It's for our faith to be tried and be found as gold, so we can ultimately be beamed up into that chariot with Yahweh Shah, so we can enter into that glory that has been promised to us, man. But we must go through much tribulation first. You see? It's necessary. It's a must. It was a rite of passage for all of our righteous forefathers, man. And we are not exempt from it. But the Most High has not forsaken us, man. This is the way that our Father has deemed that we're going to enter into the kingdom that has been promised unto us. And this is the only way we can go. You see? So 2 Maccabees 6:17, it says, But let this, what we have, what we, bro, what is up with these words, man? Damn. But let this, what we have spoken, be a warning unto us. And now we will come to the declaring of the matter in a few words. Verse 18. Eleazar, one of the principal scribes, an aged man, and of a well-favored countenance, was constrained to open his mouth and eat swine's flesh. So these fucking Greeks was trying to cause our forefather to eat swine's flesh, and we know that that's against our law. You see? Now let's see how our forefather, our righteous forefather, handled this situation. Verse 19 says what? But he, choosing rather to die gloriously than to live with such an abomination, spit it forth and came of his own accord to the torment. So instead of eating pork, he would rather die, man. You talk to Jake now about eating pork, they'll tell you how they can't live without it. We'll tell Jake, hey, you ain't supposed to be eating pork. I've been eating pork all my life and they never did nothing to me. But you see the difference between our righteous forefathers and these wicked niggas today, man. They would rather die than have swine touch their lips. This is how rooted they were in serving Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, and we have to be the same way, especially when it comes to this MOTB, that is approaching fast, man. You see? So 2 Maccabees 6:20, it says, as it behooved them to come that are resolute to stand out against such things as are not lawful for love of life to be tasted. But they that had the charge of that wicked feast, for the old acquaintance that they had with the man, taking him aside, besought him to bring flesh of his own provision, such as was lawful for him to use, and make as if he did eat the flesh taken from the sacrifice commanded by the king. So they were trying to get him to deceive Jake into eating the pork. They told him that you could bring lamb, you could bring chicken, just act like it's pork, just act like you're eating of the sacrifice, the wicked sacrifice, so they could follow you in eating it. You see? Basically trying to bribe them. Are we not seeing a lot of these false leaders? We know that they've been bribed, but just by how they're teaching, just by how they're leading their congregation, man. When it came to that jab, hell, even when it comes to the MOTB, you got leaders of these other congregations talking about take the chip. You think God cares if you put a chip in your body? And that's all because what? They've been bribed. They've taken that gift. And like the scriptures tell us, man, a gift destroys the heart. Eleazar would have never did no shit like that. Eleazar wouldn't be in this time talking about take the jab. Eleazar wouldn't be in this time talking about you think God cares if you put a chip in your body. He would be standing against it, man. Just as he stood against eating swine, to the point to where he was willing to die. You see? Firmly rooted in his faith and belief and obedience to our power, man. You see? So 2 Maccabees 6:22, it goes on to say what? That in so doing he might be delivered from death, and for the old friendship with them find favor. But he began to consider discreetly, and as became his age, and the excellency of his ancient years, and the honor of his gray head, whereon was come, and his most honest education from a child, or rather the holy law made and given by the Most High, therefore he answered accordingly, and willed them straight ways to send him to the grave. Nigga, you don't have to kill me. I'm not eating no motherfucking pork. I'm not eating no swine. And I ain't finna act like I'm eating it either. This is how our righteous forefathers stood, man. This is the mindset that we have to be in. This is the mind frame we have to be in these times that in these times of peril that we're in right now. We have to take on the same mind. We have to embody the same spirit to be willing to die than to disobey Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shah. This is what we've been telling you, Israelites, man, that it was always going to come to this point. This was never a fucking game. Have you not read the accounts of our history? So you follow these false leaders because they got charisma, they got matching garments, they got the biggest congregation. That don't mean a goddamn thing when it's all said and done, man. What you should be doing is following the true teachers who are going to get you in the proper spirit to endure this battle that we're fully coming into very soon, or the shit that we've been in from the time that we heard it. It's just about to intensify and come to its climax. And some of us will have to take on this mind frame and mindset of Eleazar and all of our righteous forefathers and standing in our faith of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shah and being obedient to his will unto death if that's what it called for. And Yahweh Shah is our chief example of that, man. Look at what he did. We're going to do a lesson on him next. You see? Well, two videos from now, we're going to do a lesson on Yahweh Shah and all that he had to suffer in his obedience to Yahweh, to the Heavenly Father Yahweh. But this is what it is, man. It was never a game. It's still not a game. So 2 Maccabees 6:24 goes on to say, But it becometh not our age, he said, in any wise to dissemble, whereby many young persons might think that Eleazar, being 80 years old, and 10, so he was 90 years old, were now gone to a strange religion. So like, bro, I've been faithful to my power for 90 years. I'm not finna, sully that now. I'm not finna put a stain on my reputation to, act like I'm eating pork to have a bunch of these people who look up to me eat the wicked sacrifice. How would that look in the sight of the Most High? How would that look in the sight of Yahweh Shah? This is what Nate and Yohanan need to be asking themselves. How does this look in the sight of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shah? I'm telling his people they'll get a jab. How does this look in the sight of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shah? I'm telling his people that he don't care if they get a chip in their body. That you will be a fool. You will be a fool not to take the jab. How would that look in the sight of the Most High? These dudes ain't considering this, man. Or any of these false teachers who are preaching any bullshit that's opposed to Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shah. They're not considering these things, man. But we are. Through the Holy Spirit, we are, and we're telling you the mind that we have to be in, man. That's why we're going through these scriptures showing you how our righteous forefathers conducted themselves, man. Even in the face of imminent danger, they stood boldly, and this is what we have to do, speaking to myself first and foremost. Now it goes on to say, 2 Maccabees 6:25, it reads, And so they, through mine hypocrisy and desire to live a little time and a moment longer, should be deceived by me. And I get a sting to my old age and make it abominable. I done served the Most High all this time and I'm going to get to the end and throw it away? No. That's what he's saying. I'm not doing that. I've been standing uprightly before the Most High all this time. Obedience and faith. I've been doing this. I'm 90 years old. I'm not finna fucking do what you motherfuckers are asking me to do. I'm not doing that. So you're going to have to put me to death. This is how he was moving. Now listen, verse 26. For though for the present time I should be delivered from the punishment of men, yet should I not escape the hand of the Almighty, neither alive nor dead. And this is what we have to keep in our minds, man. Oh, what did y'all else? Don't the scriptures tell us that? Fear not them that can kill the body. Yep. Matthew 10:28, it says, the red letter, our Lord Yahweh Shah speaking, it says, and fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. You see that? This is going back to what Eleazar said, man. We're not to fear man and what he can do to this flesh, because once he destroys his flesh, there ain't nothing that he can do to our soul. We ought to fear, you see, the king of terrors that can destroy our soul and our bodies, man. Well, let's get this in a couple translations real quick. Let's get the NLT. Matthew 10:28, it reads, don't be afraid of those who want to kill your body. They cannot touch your soul. Our soul is off limits to Esau. The only thing that he has access to is this flesh. But what animates this flesh, he has no power, no control, no dominion over it, man. You see this? This is why Eleazar and all of our righteous forefathers took the stance that they took. You see? It goes on to say, fear only the Most High, who can destroy both soul and body in hell. Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shah can do way worse than us, way worse to us than Esau can do. You see that? What does the CSB say? Matthew 10:28 in the CSB, it reads, don't fear those who kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul. Rather fear him who is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. And that's how we're moving, man. You see? Because you might escape. Like when it comes to that chip, Esau threatens to behead you. You see? But a lot of you haven't taken it serious. You haven't read the accounts about us having to be beheaded, us having to be thrown into prison for righteousness' sake, and eventually probably dying. You didn't take those scriptures serious. So now, hey, when it comes to the MOTB, you didn't believe. So now, since you didn't take the word of the Most High serious, you're going to go and get that device to continue your miserable existence here, you see, because you're afraid of the idea of death, because you haven't been firmly rooted in the account, the report that the Most High has given us. You haven't been rooted in the volume of the book. So now when you're faced with imminent death, you're going to make a decision that's detrimental to your livelihood out of fear. And a lot of you are going to go get that device put into your body, thinking that that's going to prolong, you see, your life under Esau and everything is going to be all right. But little do you, but what you fail to realize is what's coming to you after you put that device in your body is way worse than being beheaded. You see? You was afraid to be beheaded because you don't understand the concept of death. You don't. A lot of you Israelites don't believe in reincarnation. You don't believe in the new bodies or immortality. You fear them that can kill the body. You don't fear Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah. So you're going to make a stupid decision, and the judgment that's going to come for you is going to be way worse than what you would have suffered just by what? Standing in righteousness and being transitioned from this wicked mortal flesh to the immortal flesh, man. Eleazar understood what it is because he truly believed, just like we truly believe. So he was, hey man, I don't give, hey fuck, talking about prolonging a little bit later. If I do this now, I got to answer to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai later, and that's something I'm not trying to do. You see that? That's the mindset he took, and that's the same mindset we taking. Okay, we have to be beheaded for not taking the MOTB. Oh well, we know and understand what comes. You see, hey, we understand the reward that comes for doing that. So once again, a lot of you Israelites have not fully invested yourself in believing in these words, man. Truly believing. You just wanted the cute part about being, you just wanted the cute part of being an Israelite. You see, and that's about to lead a lot of you to suffering harsh and grievous judgment, man. But back in 2 Maccabees chapter 6, verse 26, it reads, "For though for the present time I should be delivered from the punishment of men, yet should I not escape the hand of the Almighty, neither alive nor dead." You see that? Verse 27, "Wherefore now, manfully changing this life." That can't be right. I don't know when they started changing these words in this app like this, man, because I know for a fact that it wasn't like this before. Okay, all right, okay. "Wherefore now, manfully changing this life, I show myself such an one as mine age required, and leave a notable example to such as be young to die willingly and courageously for the honorable and holy laws." And watch, a lot of you guys who are harping on the law, watch how you fold when this affliction is turned up to the max. Just watch. All that you talking about, you keeping the laws to perfection, is gonna be out of the window when they come with that MOTB. And a lot of you are gonna go get it because you're listening to these false ass leaders like Nate and Johanna. You see? Instead of listening to the true men of the Lord, man, who are telling you the type of spirit we have to move in. You see what Eleazar is saying? This is what we have to do. This is why this account is written. Because we would have to tap into this here in these last days, man. Because just like these Greeks came, hard and heavy and harsh, the same thing is coming here up under these Americans, man. You see? So 2 Maccabees 6 and 28, it says, "And leave a notable example to such as be young to die willingly and courageously for the honorable and holy laws. And when he had said these words, immediately he went to the torment." You see, because of what? Because of his faith, because of his belief, because of his obedience toward Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, man. You see, in his account, it's still remembered to this day. You see? Verse 29 says what? "They that led him, changing the good will they bear him a little before into hatred, became because the foresaid speeches proceeded as they thought from a desperate mind. But when he was ready to die with stripes, he groaned and said, It is manifest unto the Lord that have the holy knowledge, that whereas I might have been delivered from death," and because what? If he would have been delivered from death, if he would have went along with what the Greeks were trying to force him to do. You see that? But like the scriptures tell us, hey, they that consent unto them shall be what? Had in derision and reproach and trodden underfoot. You see? Because we're to never trust our enemies, man. Anything that Esau is coming with has never been for our benefit. And Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai is giving us the full understanding of that here in these last days. You see? So 2 Maccabees 6:30, it goes on to say, but when he was ready to die with stripes, he groaned and said, it is manifest unto the Lord that have the holy knowledge, that whereas I might have been delivered from death, I now endure sore pains in body by being beaten. But in soul am well content to suffer these things because I fear him. And that goes into what's said. Matter of fact, Wisdom of Solomon. I'm gonna get it in the hard copy, so you can go to. Matter of fact, I can get it from here, so we can see. Wisdom of Solomon 3:1. It says, "But the souls of the righteous are in the hand of the Most High, and there shall no torment touch them. In the sight of the unwise they seem to die, and their departure is taken from misery, and they're going from us to be utter destruction, but they are in peace." You see, those who didn't know no better, they were looking at Eleazar as if he was losing his mind. Now all you have to do is partake of the sacrifice and you can live. Watch, it's going to be the same fucking thing when our MOTB is made mandatory and we have to go to the torments. Because we're not taking that shit. People going to be looking at us the same way, man, just take the chip, man. Just take the chip. Everything will be all right. Just take the chip, man. You'll get to live, man. Just do it, man. Fuck all that. We are in peace because we know while we're going through, are going to have to go through, we are at peace because we know that what we have to go through is going to lead up to us being brought into glory, man. This is the way. This is the way for all you Israelites who are trying to sidestep the tribulation. Just like when Yahweh Shai prayed to the Most High in the Garden of Gethsemane about what? Father, is there another way? You see? He prayed that 3 times, but at the end of it, he said what? It ain't my will, it's your will. Let your will be done. Because the Most High didn't answer because it was the only way Yahweh Shai could what? Bring us back to the Father by being that sacrifice. And he did it. You see that? All our righteous forefathers moved the same way, man. They were willing to die rather than to be disobedient to Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai and go along with what the heathen was trying to force upon us, man. We're going to have to be, when the time comes, we're going to have to be completely and utterly rebellious to everything these fucking heathen are coming with when it comes to this MOTB and bending the knee to the image of the beast. Stubbornly rebellious as we stand in boldness in our faith, in our trust, in our belief in Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. You see? So Wisdom of Solomon 3:4 says, "For though they be punished in the sight of men, yet is their hope full of immortality." And that's why it's so important to understand the fullness of what's going on in these scriptures. That's why it's so important to understand the fullness of the Most High's will and believe in the words that are written. Reincarnation, the resurrection of Yahweh Shai, the immortal bodies that are awaiting. So when Esau comes with the threat of imminent death, it won't shake you because you know and understand, nigga, I can't die. I'm just about to leave this flesh and be brought into immortality as the Most High has promised us. That's all it is, and that's how Eleazar was moving. You see that? That's why we're going into this series of bringing us to remembrance. So when we find ourselves in the fullness of these perilous times that are increasing on the daily, we won't be tripping about what we're seeing or about what we're going through. We understand and know we're going through all of this because of righteousness' sake, man. You see? We're going through all of this because we're Israelites serving Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai as we've been created to do. That's all it is. So Wisdom of Solomon 3 and 5, it says what? And having been a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded. For the Most High proved them and found them worthy for himself. You see that? So our chastisement is going to come with a great reward, man. We're being proved. We're being tested. You see? It's going to go from us talking it to walking it. And the thing is, we've been walking it. And may Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai walk it, allow us to walk it even more fervently, being bolder, braver, more courageous, man, as we come to the end of this thing. You see, but this is what it has to be for us. There is no other way for you Israelites who are looking for another way into the kingdom. All of you who are trying to sidestep the tribulation, you're trying to enter in another way, and you're going to find yourself entering into the kingdom after death by pain, man. That's what's about to happen to a lot of you Israelites here in Babylon the Great. A lot of you who know you're Israelites. You see? So Wisdom of Solomon 3 and 6, it says, as gold in the furnace have ye tried them, and received them as a burnt offering. You see that? That's what we are, man. So I says what? We make our body a living sacrifice for Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. And because we're doing this, and may Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai allow us to continue in it, what's going to happen? Verse 7. And in the time of visitation, they shall shine and run to and fro like sparks among the stubble. We're going to have access to spiritual power. Then what's going to happen? Verse 8. They shall judge the nations and have dominion over the people, and their Lord shall reign forever. Because what? If we die in our faith, we're going to receive that crown of life from Yahweh Shai's hand, man, for finishing the course. That's what's being promised. And all of our righteous forefathers, they knew this, so that's why they were willing to cleave unto their faith, even unto death, man. That's why Hebrews 11 is a very important chapter, especially when you get to the end of it, to see all the different things that they had to suffer as they were what? Waiting to receive what Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai has promised. And if we want to partake in those promises, in the fullness of it, and being a part of that first dominion, this is the only way to go. And we have to embrace it, man. There is no way around it. Speaking to myself first and foremost. You see? So second Maccabees chapter 6, verse 31, it says, and thus this man died, leaving his death for an example of a noble courage and a memorial of virtue, not only to young men, but unto all his nation. So these are the things that we have to tap into, especially as we see this thing coming down to the wire. And we know what lies ahead, man, because the Most High has revealed his secret unto his servants and prophets. This is the only way. These are some of the things that we're going to have to suffer for righteousness' sake, man. You see? But because of that, ours is the kingdom of heaven, as Yahweh Shai has promised us. You see? So with that, man, I'm going to end it by giving all praise, all honor, all glory to Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rakakwadash. A double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching me this truth according to the Bible through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. And a sincere peace and salutation to all you hopeful elect Akim out there, pushing this word in all truth and sincerity, doing the work as Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai has created us to do. With that, I'm going to say Shalom, Wa, Abba, Babal.